Hello friends and welcome to a brand new video. I am super excited about this because I wanted to do theory videos for so long and was finally able to get my lazy ass bum up and managed to get this done. And my very first theory videos from my all-time favorite game series, The Legend of Zelda. But instead of going really traditionally and theorizing something from about like Ocarina of Time or The Wind Waker, I'm going to be theorizing from probably the least noticed Zelda game, Four Swords Adventures. Four Swords Adventures is actually one of my top favorite Zelda game, and it is kinda sad how unnoticed it is by most people. I mean, yeah, it is the least successful mainline Zelda game so far in the franchise, so it seems to be dismissed by many just because they don't like the game, or because the rating of the game wasn't the best, so they didn't even bother to pick it up and play it, which I kinda understand, but the game is still important to me and I love it very much. And the lore of the game has so much to tell, and one of my favorite parts of the lore is the Dark Mirror. The Dark Mirror plays a semi-big part in the game and is one of the biggest mysteries in the game. Where did it come from? What is the tribe that was trapped inside of it? What is its true power? That is what I'm going to be theorizing about in this video. The Dark Mirror is mostly dismissed by many as the Mirror of Twilight, but I disagree. As we saw at the end of Twilight Princess, Midna completely destroyed the mirror into millions of pieces beyond repair as the true ruler of the Twilight Realm. It could be possible that a really powerful magic holder was able to piece all the teeny tiny pieces together, but that's kind of a stretch and highly unlikely. And that also proves that the relic that is found near Lurline Village in Breath of the Wild is not the Mirror of Twilight, since as I said, it was destroyed in Twilight Princess, and the relic in Breath of the Wild has literally no connections to the Mirror of Twilight, the side quest has no relations to the Twilight Realm, it only bears some really minimal physical similarities, and yeah, it is true that the side quest bears some similarities to Twilight Princess, since you have to go find the other pieces of the relic like in Twilight Princess, and that the pieces of the relic glow in dark similarly to the signature color of the Twilight and like Luminous Stone, which are said to contain the souls of the dead. But I think that is just a reference to Twilight Princess or something to do with the Zonai tribe, nothing more. But the thing is that what I've heard people say is that the Dark Mirror is the exact same mirror as the Mirror of Twilight, mostly just because Four Swords Adventures comes after Twilight Princess in the official timeline, which can change at any time as seen in the past, so Hylia knows what it's gonna look like next time we get some kind of an update on the timeline. So I still highly disagree that the two mirrors are connected, even though they have the same kind of abilities like turning people evil and having an evil tribe connected to it. Even Hyrule Historia says that the connection between the two mirrors is unknown, which supports the fact even more that the Dark Mirror and the Mirror of Twilight aren't the same mirror. There are also some other clues that show that the Dark Mirror isn't the Mirror of Twilight. First of all, the Twilight Realm technically isn't inside the mirror, it's just a portal, a way to get there, it's like a key to a door. But it is said in Four Swords Adventures that the mysterious tribe and their dark powers were actually sealed inside the mirror, rather than a different realm, which is heavily implied in Four Swords Adventures by Dampe and the White Maiden. In the English version, the things that the White Maiden says can be interpreted in many ways, but in the Japanese version she clearly specifies that the tribe was sealed inside the mirror. They use the Japanese kanji naka, which means in, to tell that. And as we can see in Twilight Princess, the Twilight are a peaceful tribe. After hundreds of years of living in the Twilight Realm, they don't do anything. They were only hostile because of Zan's magic, so using them as the dark power to create endless amounts of shadow links seems highly unlikely. One another fact to prove that the two mirrors aren't the same is what the two tribes are called. In the Japanese version of Twilight Princess, the Twilight are called Kage no Ichizoku, which translates to Shadow Clan. And the Japanese version of Four Swords Adventures, the Dark Tribe is called Yami no Ichizoku, which translates to Dark Clan. Yes, they are similar, but not the same. So if these two tribes were meant to be the same, they most likely would have had the same name. So what exactly is the Dark Mirror? Well, physically it just resembles a normal mirror, kinda similar to the magic mirror from A Link to the Past, which kinda makes sense since Four Swords Adventures uses the same design and assets as A Link to the Past. But in the Four Swords Adventures manga, it has more of a distinguished look, a bit more evil. In the game, it is stolen by Ganondorf from the Temple of Darkness to be the source of Shadow Link, respawning without an end, said to be the previous Ganondorf's resentment and evil thoughts about the chosen hero, but also said to be Link's wickedness born to life, like the White Maiden says. Link's personality isn't shown in Forza's adventures like in any other game, so what the wickedness is kinda left into the open, but the manga goes a little bit in detail with this. It is shown that Link is very arrogant and constantly works alone instead of with the rest of the Knights of Hyrule, and thinks that he is the strongest and can do anything alone, which could have been the cause of the wickedness and Shadow Link's birth. The manga also goes a little bit in detail with the power of the Dark Mirror. The manga's canonicity is kind of a question mark with kind of weird statements in the past, but it is our only lead right now, so we're gonna go with that. But also the powers and its explanation in the manga is quite similar to the game, so I think it's safe to say that this source can be trusted. In the manga, the Dark Mirror is also seen to have the powers of clairvoyance, as Shadow Link was able to spy on the Links during their travels and was able to see that Purple Link was trying to destroy the mirror. It also seems to have the powers of teleportation, as Shadow Link commanded it to teleport from Tower of Flames to the Tower of Winds. But most importantly, the Dark Mirror is told to contain the power of darkness and to be the source of Vati's and Shadow Link's powers. So when at the end of the manga, spoiler alert, when Shadow Link destroys the mirror, he and Vati are completely destroyed. This also gives some evidence on who created this evil mirror. So what I think is that the Dark Tribe that was sealed in the mirror created this mirror for their dark rituals and or to act as some sort of vessel for all of their evil magic, which caused it to become the source of darkness. So what exactly was this Dark Tribe? Well, there are several clues that we can clearly tell what this tribe was from the game, its predecessor Twilight Princess, and its location. So, the Dark Mirror's resting place was the Temple of Darkness, hidden there to sever its connection from the rest of the world so that the evil in it would never rise again. The Temple of Darkness is located in the level 5 of Forza's Adventures with two other stages, the Lost Woods and Kakariko Village. These two places already give a huge clue about the tribe. The White Maiden tells us that the Lost Woods were once called the Forest of Light, but were transformed into a Forest of Dark by evil powers. So from that we can tell that the Temple of Darkness probably always wasn't the Temple of Darkness. And what peculiar place used to be in the heart of the Lost Woods in Twilight Princess? The Temple of Time. So what I believe is that the Dark Tribe invaded Hyrule, were defeated, sealed in the mirror, and now needed a place to hide it in. What better place to hide it in than once a holy temple, being the very place of a portal to the sacred realm itself to place this cursed relic and keep it hidden from the rest of the world. You might think that it might be weird for them to put this cursed relic so close to the door to the sacred realm, since if they manage to get away, the sacred realm would be within their grasp, but seeing the dark power of the tribe, it probably was the best and the safest bet. And you know what they say, keep your friends close and enemies closer. But the more likely possibility could be that the entrance to the Sacred Realm didn't even exist in that temple anymore. Since the temple had been abandoned and corrupted by evil once again, as we see in Twilight Princess, the door might have been moved to somewhere else to keep it safe. So they probably built this new temple from the ruins of Temple of Time, calling it the Temple of Light. There were also some patterns on the temple resembling a loft wing. The same symbol appears on the Hyrulean Adventure in the Game Board selection and in the Forza Sanctuary, and it is also really similar to the one in the Hylian Shield, which shows that this once was a holy temple for Hylians and the royal family. There are also two bird statues in front of the temple, which don't look that evil for some reason, unlike the ones from inside the temple and other ones such as the ones in Eastern Ruins in A Link to the Past and in Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time, which supports the fact that it clearly was a holy temple for Hylians and the royal family. So what was this tribe? Well, what was that other stage next to the temple that I mentioned before? Kakariko Village. I think that it is not a coincidence that once the Sheikah village is right next to the resting place of this evil mirror. It might be even possible that this new Kakariko village was founded by the Sheikah so that they could watch over the new Temple of Light. To back this up, there even aren't any Sheikah in the game and the whole village has fallen into decline with burglary. So maybe once again, somewhere between Twilight Princess and Forza's Adventures, The Sheikah population grew, and they became power hungry and started to practice dark magics without the royal families knowing, and eventually became so powerful that they were able to invade to the rest of the Hyrule. It could even be possible that they invaded this newly established Temple of Light to create the Dark Mirror and practice their dark rites on it. The Dark Mirror might have even been left on the same pedestal it was created in. So, they tried to invade Hyrule, but underestimated the powers of royal family and their light magic, and were pushed back into the temple and were able to be sealed into the mirror. And it was left there alone for the world to be forgotten, only for the remaining loyal Sheikah to watch closely over this dark relic, adding a new memory to their dark past until they too faded into the history. One problem rises though. The Master Sword. It is shown at the end of Twilight Princess that the Master Sword is returned to its pedestal in the ruins of the Temple of Time. So where was it during the Dark Tribe's invasion and during the events of Forza's adventures? Well, the most likely possibility is that the temple was just built around the Master Sword like in the past games, like Skyward Sword and the Wind Waker, and it was there when the Dark Tribe invaded the temple. It could have also been one of their reasons to invade the temple, to harness its power for their own use, but were unable to since beings of darkness are unable to touch the sword. And then during the invasion to the rest of the Hyrule, the Master Sword could have been retrieved to help to defeat the invasion of the Sheikah. After they had been defeated, the Master Sword might have been placed somewhere completely else for safekeep, which is why it's not present in the game. Maybe it was hidden in Hyrule Castle, maybe to the room that Zelda enters at the end of the game. Who knows, but that is a completely different theory for a different time. So what came of the mirror after the events of Forza's adventures? Well, it differs between the game and the manga. In the game, after defeating final Shadow Link with the help of Princess Zelda, the endless cycle of Shadow Links finally comes to an end and Zelda obtains the Dark Mirror. It is unknown what happened to it after that. It was probably returned to the restored Temple of Light to lie there for the rest of the eternity, or they could have gotten rid of it for good like Midna did to the Mirror of Twilight and in the Forza's Adventures manga. Like I explained before, at the end of the manga, Shadow Link himself destroys the mirror even though knowing that it kills him too in the process. So what could have happened to the Dark Sheikah after the mirror was destroyed? Well, what I think is that after being trapped in the mirror for hundreds of years, they lost their physical appearances and they manifested as the dark energy which shows as Shadow Link in the game and as the source of darkness that Vati and Shadow Link talk about in the manga. So when in the manga the mirror is destroyed, Vati says that his power is disappearing, which could mean that the dark power of the mirror which once were the evil Sheikah disappeared from the world for good, ending the tragic chapter of the Dark Mirror. Oh my god, I can't believe I was able to finish this. Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize for my bad editing skills. I'm using a new editing program, so everything is a bit new to me. So, hopefully as I go on, I'll get better and better, so please just bear with me for a while. And also, I'd like to apologize if I did any grammatical mistakes. I'm not a native English speaker, but I try. But yes, what did you think? Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Please tell me in the comments, because I'd really like to know what everyone else thinks. That was this a good theory or just not. But yes, if you really enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because this video took an immense amount of time to work on, so it would really mean a lot to me and I'd really appreciate it. And I've already started working on my next video and I'm super excited for it, so make sure to tune in for that. But yes, thank you for watching, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Lots of love. I'll see you in the next one, bye bye!